Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we need to talk about something critical to global stability: China's increasingly sophisticated use of what I call peaceful propaganda to disrupt the world order, all while skillfully portraying itself as a perpetual victim on the international stage. For decades, China has championed its peaceful rise or peaceful development doctrine. It speaks of a community of shared future for mankind, emphasizes win-win cooperation, and reiterates its commitment to the five principles of peaceful coexistence. On the surface, this sounds like the blueprint for a harmonious world, and indeed, China's economic integration has been a powerful force for global growth. But peel back that carefully constructed veneer, and you find a starkly different reality. While the words are of peace, the actions are often those of coercion and assertiveness. Look at the South China Sea. China claims nearly the entire sea, an assertion that is illegal under international law. While calling for peaceful dialogue, Beijing has systematically built and militarized artificial islands, turning reefs into military outposts. We've seen their coast guard and maritime militia use water cannons, ramming tactics, and blockades against smaller nations like the Philippines. Actions that are anything but peaceful. They disrupt legitimate economic activities and intimidate fishermen, all while maintaining their rhetoric of non-aggression. This isn't peace, it's a strategic land grab masked by diplomatic niceties. Consider Taiwan. China insists on peaceful reunification, yet refuses to renounce the use of force. We regularly see massive military drills aimed directly at Taiwan, aggressive incursions into its air defense identification zone, and economic pressure campaigns. These aren't the actions of a nation solely seeking a peaceful solution. They are overt displays of intimidation and a veiled threat of invasion. And what about the Belt and Road Initiative? Touted as a grand vision for global connectivity and shared prosperity, it has increasingly faced criticism for creating debt traps for developing nations. Countries are often left with unsustainable loans and little control over critical infrastructure, leading to questions about China's true motives and whether this cooperation is truly equitable. Now, let's address the second, equally powerful narrative: China portraying itself as perpetually bullied. This taps into a deep wellspring of historical memory. The century of humiliation, a period from the mid-19th to mid-20th centuries when foreign powers exploited China. The Communist Party skillfully leverages this narrative to, first, legitimize its own rule by presenting itself as the savior that ended the humiliation and restored China's dignity. Second, generate domestic nationalism, fostering a powerful sense of unity and grievance against perceived external threats. Third, justify its assertive actions, framing its current geopolitical maneuvers as necessary defenses against Western attempts to contain or suppress its rise. Fourth, shift blame. When facing international criticism, China often dismisses it as interference in internal affairs or a continuation of historical Western bullying. For example, criticism of human rights abuses in Xinjiang or the crackdown in Hong Kong is framed as an attack on China's sovereignty rather than a concern for universal human rights. This brings us to wolf warrior diplomacy. This assertive, often aggressive style of diplomacy, characterized by combative rhetoric from Chinese officials on social media and in public statements, directly contradicts the peaceful image. Yet, it serves the dual purpose of defending China's interests and appealing to domestic nationalist sentiment, reinforcing the idea that China is standing strong against external pressures. The danger here is profound. When a major global power consistently uses peaceful language to mask coercive actions, it erodes trust, undermines international law, and makes genuine cooperation incredibly difficult. When it simultaneously plays the victim card, it deflects accountability for its own actions and further polarizes global discourse. So, what other information can we look at? Disinformation campaigns. Beyond official statements, delve into how China uses sophisticated disinformation tactics, including deepfakes and AI-generated content, to spread its narratives and discredit critics, particularly on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and Facebook. Economic coercion. specific examples of how China has used its economic leverage to punish countries that displease it, such as trade restrictions on Australia or Lithuania. Control of information, explain how the Great Firewall and pervasive censorship within China ensure that its domestic population primarily receives the official narrative, making it harder for alternative viewpoints to penetrate. International norms. Discuss how China's actions challenge established international norms and institutions, pushing for a world order that prioritizes state sovereignty over human rights or universal values. The world needs to see beyond the rhetoric. We must hold China accountable for its actions, not just its words. Understanding this strategic duality, the language of peace coupled with assertive behavior and a narrative of victimhood, is crucial for navigating the complex geopolitical landscape of the 21st century. It's about recognizing the true nature of the challenges we face and working together to build a genuinely peaceful and equitable global order, not one based on strategic deception.